People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, obviously, Arsenal play Newcastle on Sunday. Actually, I haven't done my preview yet, but it's irrelevant for now. There are some specific to Arsenal stuff I'd like to speak about, so I might as well just crack on, people. Let you choose N'Golo Kante do his thing. Let's start off with the easy stuff. Apparently, Aubameyang's had some words on being captain, and if you like being captain so much, sign a new deal, my guy. Now I'm playing, but he said, it's a big honour when you see how many great captains we've had in this team. So I feel very proud, and I always try to give my best. And I always try to give advice to the young players and do what's best for my team. That's what you want to hear, and obviously at his age, you like to hear he wants to be the captain and he relishes responsibility. And obviously Aubameyang's future is still going to divide opinion until we see some clarity or a resolution, whether that's selling him, whether that's a new deal, whether that's allowing him to run the deal down. Until we hear word from the club or something along them lines, we don't know, and it's always going to stay there. So it is what it is in that regards. Apparently, Juninho Paulista was sent by Titi to London to meet Gabriel Martinelli. Apparently, Martinelli is wanted in Brazil's first team. And we have heard these rumours before. We've seen Ronaldinho go on the offensive and praise Martinelli. And obviously, if Ronaldinho praises you, you know, you can't. Ronaldinho and Henry are probably the only players, and Patrick Vieira, that I would move like a groupie if I saw them down the hierarchy. So imagine Martinelli as a native Brazilian, as someone that, he's 18, so I don't even know if he watched. When is Martinelli born? I don't even know if he got to see Ronaldinho like that. But if either way, if you're Brazilian, he's born in 01, so you weren't watching 02 World Cup and them things there. So you wasn't necessarily see it. Well, I mean, he weren't pre-Ronaldinho in 06, 07 and that. He probably wasn't competent of age. But either way, he probably has seen YouTube and know what Ronaldinho's on. And any Brazilian who doesn't know about Ronaldinho in a footballing sense, there's a problem. So to get praise from a man like that is obviously going to be a madness. Whether that's Ronaldinho being on the charm offensive to tempt him, because he's also eligible for Italy, who knows, people. We've heard they won him before, and he deserves it, really. He's still a young man, he's developing. I know Brazil obviously have other strikers, but what other strikers are there? I think Firmino's probably the best one, and then you're probably looking at some others. So if he can get a look in that, why not, people? And obviously with him, in terms of resale value, I know he's just joined the club, but we probably need to offer him improved wages and tie him down, because not before too long we might face a fight to hold on to my man, people. Speaking of contracts, the Daily Mail are saying Arsenal are trying to tie down Bukayo Saka to a new deal in a bid to fend off interest in their versatile starlet from abroad and at home. Apparently, Manchester United, Liverpool, Bayern Munich are monitoring developments. Bayern Munich is particularly interested to me because they wanted Amici, they tried to get Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously, you see what they've done with Davis, the Canadian international, and Alaba. And if I'm Saka, you could be tempted to go there, you know, and become more of a complete player. You look at Alaba; he's a complete left back and more or less a wing back, and he can play in a couple of other roles. You look at Alphonso Davies, the development he's done on that left hand side. Obviously, Bayern Munich's a big club, and it might be a lot for an 18-year-old to go there and whatnot. But there's that. Liverpool is Liverpool. You're seeing what Liverpool is doing right now. If you could get first team football there, why wouldn't you want to go? Manchester United, you could probably get better wages. It's still a historical big club. We did hear that the club have been actively trying to tie down the man who's down into his last 18 months of his deal, and it seemed to be just a formality. We saw reports like his family and Bukayo and Arsenal all confident, but until a man signed on the line, he signed on the line. And if you're talking about resale value or assets from a business proposition, Saka is one of them, the 17, 18-year-old lad. He's probably the only one. Him, Martinelli, Guendouzi to a degree based on age, Torreira, I believe. You could probably say Aubameyang, but there's not too many players, and I'm probably missing out some that we could sell for substantial amounts of money. And what I mean by that is, for instance, we bought Guendouzi for around 5-7 million. We could probably sell him for 20 odd. Saka can go for, at this age already, about 40-50, and the same for Martinelli. We need to tie these down, and away from that, he's part of our future, whether it's as a left back or left winger. His age is irrelevant. He's become a first team consistent player. We need to tie it down, and again, him and Martinelli deserve probably 100 bags a week, really, on the banter thing, people. They probably deserve it because they've been playing well. Obviously, it is a bit worrying as an Arsenal fan hearing this, but hopefully it gets resolved. He's contracted until 2021. It would be a bitter blow to lose him. And a player like him really shouldn't be allowed to run his deal down. Or I'm not saying he's running his deal down, but be in this situation. So hopefully there's a resolution. Hopefully he finds that this is the best place for him. With Arteta being at Arsenal, he's playing games and whatnot. He might play games elsewhere. But how many other 17, 18-year-old lads in the Premier League are playing week in, week out like him and Martinelli? So hopefully that makes him stay. And obviously the point that he's going to be a part of a rebuild. Because, I mean, if he goes to Munich, who have been linked with him, Dortmund probably should be interested in him. But if he goes, which should be a good thing, but if he goes to Dortmund, it's a different sort of thing. They're not going to care that you're a young man developing. At Arsenal, it's a bit different with the expectations. He's part of a team that's developing, and he could be central to that. So only he'll know, but hopefully it means we can retain the man. Moving away from that, though, I don't know if I've mentioned it. Apparently, James Bench of Football London has said Arsenal are set to open contract talks with Saka Guendouzi and would hand the highly rated youngster significantly improved terms and wages. And I think he deserves it. He's fallen off the ball a bit in terms of form, but I think he deserves a new deal. I think we've got he's going to be central to our plans at some capacity, whether that's a squad player or regular moving forward. There is some resale value there. I know he polarised his opinion, but there clearly is some ability there because his form got him into the French side, standby or not. Do you see what I'm saying? And again, we need to, regardless what you think of these players, we need to start tying down players so that we can command top dollar and things like that more often. So hopefully, and we did hear, like Saka, we did hear the club were in talks to do this a while ago, and it needs to be done, man. Because you look at Liverpool, it's completely different. They've won the Champions League. They're about to win the Prem. They look like they're doing some madness. They're in talks to Van Dijk. I swear he just signed for them. They want to give him a new deal worth, 50 million a year, 150 a week. I saw in the Daily Mail. I don't know for the maths or if that makes sense, but that's what I saw. From him, I'm trying to get 200k. Do you get it? And I think Liverpool do very well with, consistently giving out these contracts and tying man down and protecting the value. And they've also got a decent wage structure from what I believe, because you look at the money Salah, Mane and all these guys on. I know money isn't everything, but potentially they could be leveraging more money for themselves, people. Finally, and admittedly, this really came off doing my Q&A, and really because we've seen that, according to Bin yet again, Arsenal still want to sign Upamecano after having an offer rejected last summer. Apparently, in his contract, it expires in 2021 and he'll be available for around 50 million this summer. You hear him, Bayern Munich want him and a couple of clubs. And I do think with Upamecano, with like a lot of players, are we sensationalising a man? Not through his fault, because when I see Upamecano, for me personally, I see the hype, but I don't get it. Cause I see a strong defender, I see a good ball player, I see someone that sticks to his task well. And like you saw in the second half against Bayern Munich, he's a monster. He's still young as a man, so he can develop into a competent centre-half. But are we sensationalising a man and looking at our need for a centre-half so much that we're putting him on potentially a pedestal that he's not, and looking at the player that he's not? Because when I watch him at times, he is a bit clumsy, he is a bit error-prone. I think he's good on the ball, but his passing does put people under pressure. And I don't think he's all the way there yet. So as fans, do we run this risk of sensationalising a man and seeing him as the messiah to all our answers, in which he might be, but realistically he's not that? In the same way Saliba, maybe in hindsight it's a good thing Saliba stayed at St Etienne for another year. Personally, I would have loved him here at Arsenal already. I can't see how he can't get games here. But do you get it? With Saliba, who, if many people won't speak on the game against Metz where Diallo ruined him really, they'll focus on these clips where he looks good. What was it against Monaco, where on the ball he turns a man in an awkward position? They were not looking at the whole picture. Saliba's been good for St Etienne, but there's been times he's found it tough. Granted, they've been far and few, but they're not looking at the fact that he's 18, 19, he's somewhat naive to a degree, and he's still got a lot of levels to go up. They're seeing that the fact that he's highly rated, he's 18, he's 19, he's 6 foot odd, he's relatively quick, and he's a good ball player, getting gassed off, and I do too. The player he's going to be in 2-3 years down the line, and not looking at the player he is today, people, and then saying he's overrated and things like that, because I do think we sensationalise him, man. And I don't think it's healthy to look at one man to be the messiah. Of course, a top centre-half to a degree, whether it's Upamecano or not, will make the difference. But what will make the difference is, which Arteta has already been installing, greater emphasis on the whole team, how we defend collectively. Before it gets to our last line of defence, which is our back four, what have we done in midfield and up front? And on top of that, that in terms of defence, like the specific defenders, they obviously need to. They've been improving, but they need to improve because it needs to be a key. We need to improve really. There are some teams in the Premier League, like look at Sheffield United, give or take. If you take out their key centre halves and you mix and match a bit, you're not really going to see a drop off in quality. Obviously, all our centre halves are as bad as each other, but if you remove David Luiz based on current form and probably Socrates based on how he's been until he was dropped, you would see a drop off in quality, and that's not healthy. There should be a baseline of performance. I do think we run the risk of potentially sensationalising a man, because I like Upamecano. He's a good defender. He can play a high line, he can play out from the back. Don't know why we're not linked with Canute enough, because he's equally as good his Leipzig partner. But are we sensationalising the man? Because anyone that's really been scrutinising Upamecano or really been watching him, and they say, not that they're 100% convinced, because I would take him, but if they're 100% confident that he'll hit the ground running and he's not got to learn anything, they're either not watching the player enough, they're either not knowing what they're looking for, or they're quite frankly lying. Because if you've watched him consistently, you're not 100% convinced. For me, I think he's a good player. I want him at this club. I see potential in him. But you have to bear in mind, he's going to learn some harsh lessons, people, because there is an element of clumsiness with Upamecano. But I think there's a player in him. And I mean, how old is he? He can't be, 22 max. Again, I should really know these ages off by heart because I'm always making videos and everything there. But let's actually see. He's 21. He turns 22 in October. So there's still some lessons to be learned in a degree. I wouldn't mind. Admittedly, I haven't really run the rule over him too much this season. But Frankfurt's Ivan Ndika, who's 20 and he's 21 in August, he's someone I would like to have a look at as well, people. Really and truly. Because I'm so sure he's left-footed. He's a centre-half. I can't imagine Frankfurt are going to try and ask too much of us necessarily, people, in terms of a transfer fee, but you never know because he's young, French, with a lot of potential. Let me see if there's any other Arsenal stuff quickly via Google for you guys, people. No, we've already heard the Guendouzi thing. Yeah, there's not much really and truly, people. Apparently, we tried to sign Legia Warsaw, and we've signed quite a few players from there. But the lads joined, I don't know if he's a midfielder or what, but apparently we tried to... Oh, this 20-year-old lad, he's a goalkeeper. We tried to sign him from Legia Warsaw, but he signed for Monaco. His name is Radosław Majecki. I can't say his name, people. I'll put it in the description. I'll copy and paste that now. I can't say that, but he's 20 years of age, I believe, just looking at his thing. Yeah, he's 20. He played 21 times in his homeland, I assume. He's obviously been part of the Europa League side. And I'm so sure he was linked with Arsenal before, but we've lost out on him. And although I haven't pre'd him and whatnot, people, he's rated at 5 million. Why does it say he's joining? Some say he's joined on loan from Monaco. Joined Monaco on loan. Apologies, people. I've made a mistake. He signed for 5 to 6 million euros to Monaco, and he returned to Legia Warsaw for the end of the campaign on loan. And he'll obviously for next season go to Monaco. And he signed until 2024. And I've never seen him play in my life, so I'm not going to lie. But one thing Arsenal seem to know is Polish keepers. I know he's completely different because he thinks he's of Polish descent versus born in Poland. But you look at Hubert in our 18s. Fabianski and Szczesny both came from Legia Warsaw, I'm sure, and were sold on for decent money. He's not a defender. I mean, he's not a keeper. He's a defender / centre mid. But previous youngster Nico Bilic. But his name's not even Christian Bielik. What am I calling him, man? The GTA character Bielik. He's obviously come from the same club. So our scouts in Poland or whoever it is seems to be doing a good job. So while I've never seen my man play before, you could assume he's a half decent player with a decent amount of potential. But I don't know anything about him. So on that note, I'm just going to get out of here, people. But before I do, I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't forget it. But yeah, as usual, it's a pleasure to speak with you guys, man, and all of these sort of things. Thank you for listening. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. I'm out.